sustained from Hurricane Michael to remove or manage forest debris from the storm. It's intended to protect forest health, reduce wildfire risk, and increase timber and orchard production. Okay? I can tell you, I have walked across some stands where I could walk from here to the back of the room, stepping from log to log. Never touched the ground. Fortunately, most of our stands are not like that, but we have a few that are like that. Okay? If your stand is not like that, consider yourself fortunate. But you don't qualify for most of the federal programs if your stand is not like that. What this is going to do is help you clean up your stand if you don't qualify for any federal money. Okay? That's the good news. Cost of debris management will be shared at a rate of 80% FDUMP and 20% landowner with a possible maximum payment limitation. Again, we don't know how far this money is really going to go. And sign-up period, Scott Griffin over here is going to be looking at these things and deciding, how we're going to handle this. Okay? Applications will be accepted from January 14th through February 11th. Okay? Landowners may apply for funds retroactively. So if you've already done some work, go ahead and fill out an application and send it in. Okay? There's nothing wrong with that. All right? Approved applications will be notified in writing beginning February 25th. Now, the way this is going to work, I'm not going to really get involved on the front end. Okay? You will see me out there, but I won't be involved on the front end. You will send an application in. Once the work is done and you've been notified, you will send your invoices and documentation along with a map in to the headquarters. Okay? I will be coming out after that to verify that you did the work. Okay? And if you know me, I have to see it before I believe it. Okay? So I will be looking on the ground. So that's why you've got to have an accurate map. All right? The applicant must be the legal owner of the property. Okay? Must be the legal owner of the property. The program is not limited by county, but damage must have occurred as a result of Hurricane Michael. So it's not limited just to 28 counties that Hurricane Michael affected. It can be applied to any county in the state, but it has to be a direct result of Hurricane Michael. Okay? Area must be at least 10 acres in size. Okay? So if you have a tract, you have 3 to 4 acres that you really want to get cleaned up, those areas have to total 10 acres or more to qualify. Okay?
The area with the damage.
With the damage.
So if you got 100 acres and 5 of them got blew off on one corner, you don't get anything. That doesn't qualify.
I'm sorry?
If you got 3 acres here, 5 acres over there, across the road, you got some
Yeah, it has to be 10 acres per tract.
per tract.
Yeah. Okay. There's really no limitation on orchards, particularly pecan orchards. Okay. But on timberland, there is a 10 acres limit. Cost share may be limited by taxpayer ID number, depending on the demand for funds. For example, a cat may be set at $50,000 per tax ID number. Okay? This will be determined after the end of the first sign-up when we see what the demand is. See how far the money's going to go. Upon completion of the work, participants will be required to submit official cost documentation and a detailed map. This is a little different. Okay? Now, I'm going to make a suggestion here. When you submit your cost information, submit it in the form of an invoice. Kind of a detailed invoice. That's just good business practice. Okay? We also need a map. Okay? It doesn't have to be a fancy map. It can be a map that you get from FSA. And it can be areas where you treated can be filled in by hand. Okay? That's a little different than the past. Usually we supplied, or the FSA or somebody would supply a map. You're going to have to supply the map this time. Okay? Because when I come out there, I don't want to be spending a lot of time hunting around. I want to get you approved and get you money as quick as possible. Okay, so a detailed map, at least for my part, is going to be pretty important. Okay? Go ahead.
Everybody hear me okay in the back? If on your official cost documentation, if you did the work yourself, I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier this morning, and he said, you know, they're doing the work themselves. What do I need to give? Can I just tell you how much we spent or whatever? I said, no, really, we need detailed cost documentation. So in that case, you know, what kind of equipment did you use? How many hours? How many person hours? You know, man hours? If you use chainsaw, what kind of chainsaw? You know, give us as much documentation as you can. And that is part of that due diligence on our part to make sure the money is being distributed properly, to know that you took the time to document your costs. So every day, you know, write down if you're doing it yourself, write down how many hours, what kind of equipment, and all that, and that's what we'll need at the end of the process.
We would all agree that accountability is really important, isn't it? Okay, so just good business to submit it, you know, detailed invoice, showing all the different costs, all right? The map should also identify areas within the property where debris management occurred, along with the acreage of each area. Okay? It doesn't have to be real exact, all right? You know, I'm not going to go in there and check it. I'm not going to fuss it to half acre off or something like that. So try to get it close. Okay, just try to get your acreage close when you submit your map. Cost share payments will come after the work is completed and will be based on official cost documentation. Payment is cost share based on 80% of documented cost. Cost may be associated with the minimum reasonable price necessary for managing debris and restoring forests or orchards. Okay, so just be reasonable when you estimate your cost, particularly if you're doing it yourself. We will coordinate federal and state cost share money. Okay, just because you're getting in a federal program or you're getting cost share from the feds does not disqualify you from participating in this program. Not at all. But we are going to coordinate that cost. Okay. A lot of the cases that I've looked at for EFRP, and I suspect most of you in this room have applied for that. Many of you did not qualify. Some of you have. Those of you that didn't qualify, this is the program that's going to help you. Because if you didn't qualify, that means your stand was not destroyed. But it's got some damage. Yes, we're in the process of sending that out. Should have. But we're getting there. Okay. So, $20 million was set aside in the special legislative session. Okay. This money is in hand. Okay. We're not going to have to wait for money to become available. It's in hand. Okay. That is good news. That is really good news. Applications must be submitted for each parcel. And your application does not have to be notarized. So you can fill it out, send it in. Whatever.
What do you mean by parcel?
Ownership. In other words, if you have a landlocked, however many acres, that would be considered a parcel.
Two or three different tracks in that parcel.
No, those are different parcels. So
If it's contiguous and it's different land lots, do you need a separate application for every one of them?
depends on how it's listed, who the owner is.
Same owner.
Yeah, that would be considered one, I believe. We don't have a hard deadline, but we're thinking by 30th of June 2020, most of the work should be done. But again, we have not set a hard deadline for the expenditure of this money. Okay, the applicant name must match the listed legal landowner name in each county appraiser's office. This is one part that's pretty important. So when you send it in, it has to match the listed owner's name. And again, Georgia Development Authority are the ones that are actually handling the money and cutting the checks. Okay.
Steve, what if the work's not completed by 26/30? You got a lot of stuff that's wet. And you're gonna have, I see it being a problem being able to get through it all like that.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're gonna say, hey, after that, no more. That's just my thinking. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably that's gonna be the goal, but if it, if there's some that are gonna go beyond that, we'll have that conversation to say, how long can we extend these funds for? So,
I think if I could, our intent there would certainly be to work with you to the maximum extent possible. What we will have to check on if we get into that is with the state's Office of Planning and Budget, how long can these funds carry over, or do they have to be spent by a certain time? That really is a discussion we'll have. We'll be advocating on your behalf if we get into that situation to give these folks time, as much time as they reasonably need to get the work done.
Let's take a minute and go over the application real quick. There's some stuff on here that's going to help you if you know up front how to fill it out. Okay. First part is pretty straightforward. Applicant property owner, tax record, ID number or social security number, type of taxpayer, mailing address, city, cell phone, all that stuff. Pretty straightforward. Now, when you get down here on this part, let me talk about this for a minute. Look on the left side here. It will say, selected for assistance required. And it'll say forest type, debris management. Then it has forest type. Planted pine, natural pine, and so on. And you fill in the number of acres that you feel like you need help with. All right? And your estimated total cost. Now, we're not going to hold you to that estimate. Okay? The reason for this estimate is so that Scott and his folks can see how far this money's going to go. Have an idea of what we're looking at as far as total cost. We're not going to hold you to that estimate. Try to be reasonable. Don't cut yourself short. Don't put anything crazy down either. Okay?
let's go back up.
Yeah.
Just want to say something at the top. If you see, you do have to put your taxpayer ID number at the top of the application, and that's something that we wrestled with because we know the importance of that number and the importance of keeping that number confidential. And so that's why we're saying that you have to print off a hard copy, fill this out, and then mail it directly to our office in Macon. We're not emailing those back and forth for security reasons. But it is an important number because that's what we're going to base our possible upper limits on. So that is a number that we're going to need. And then also Georgia Development Authority will need that number when they make the payment as well. I heard a little bit of talk going on when we were talking about parcels earlier, whether it was one application per parcel. We've actually had that conversation within the agency, trying to make it as easy as we can on the folks who need the assistance, but also trying to have something that we can maintain and make work. And we want one of these applications per parcel. So if the county recognizes that as a separate parcel, we need the application per parcel, even if they're side by side. And what that's going to do is a couple of things. When you put down your assistance needed down here, we're going to know exactly on that parcel how many acres you need on that parcel, roughly. Where if you listed 5 parcels and then put total acres down here, we wouldn't really know what was going on that particular parcel. And the other thing that will allow us to do is when you finish your work on that parcel, you can go ahead and submit bills and get paid for doing that work on that parcel. Otherwise, if we had them all lumped onto one application, you'd be tied to doing all the work on all of them at one time and then getting the payment at the end. So it'll be a little bit more paperwork, but on us and you as well to submit different applications, but I think it'll make things a little bit more clear as far as what you're applying for and what parcels you're applying for. So any questions about that? Okay.
I got a question on the estimated cost, right?
No, sir, the question was the parcels have to be contiguous. It doesn't matter if they're touching or there's one, 5 miles down the road or in another county. It's just one per parcel. If the county recognizes that as a parcel, it's got a boundary and a number, then that would need one application.
But that parcel has to be at least 10 acres of damage, right?
Yes. So if you had 5 parcels and one of your parcels was a 3-acre parcel, then it wouldn't qualify because you don't have enough acreage period on that, or if you didn't have enough damage on that parcel, that particular piece would not qualify. And the reason why we did the limit on acreage is to try to get away from cleaning up, yards and that kind of thing. Just being straightforward. We're not, trying to, there's some need there, but it's just we can't manage that. So.
Steve, on your line, where you got estimated costs, and we're trying to figure out the cost. On the documentation that's in this application behind it shows the average Georgia cost is $500 an acre. Do we use the $500 an acre? Or what are we going to be using? We have no idea what it's going to cost.
I think that's reasonable.
I didn't have a question.
Well, the question was, there was some material that went out that said average cost for cleanup is somewhere around $500 an acre. And that was put out just to kind of, it wasn't really meant as a guidance to say everybody use $500 an acre. It's really meant as, to put some kind of limit in people's minds that we're not talking about doing $2,000 an acre cleanup on land. We're not. I've actually put something out that said we're doing debris management, not landscaping. So there's a difference. So if you're grinding stumps and laying sod or something, that's landscaping. But this is just basically managing the debris. And the cost estimate should be based on conversations with maybe if you're going to use a contractor, a conversation with that contractor, what do you charge to do this kind of debris management? And, there's all kind of different ways that you can do it. That's why we're really not going to come out and write you a plan for debris management to say this is what you got to do, this, and this. It's kind of up to you how you want to skin that cat, if you will. So, in some cases you're going to be using a dozer with a root rake, and in other cases you may be paying somebody with a skidder to come in and pull the logs out of the residual woods that you have. So there's all kind of ways, and you just try to get those cost estimates the best way you can. And sometimes it may be difficult to do that, especially when it's real scattered debris and that kind of thing. It may be difficult to come up with that estimate, but just do the best you can. But don't use the flat. The 500 is just a flat rate unless you think that's a good rate for your woods.
Okay, one important point. If you look at it on the far right side, it tells you where to mail your application. Don't mail it to me or to the county offices. Okay? It goes to Forest Management Department, Georgia Forestry Commission, Dry Branch, Georgia. You mail it to me, I'll send it on the bank, but it'll be delayed. So.
And you can, one other, as far as number of applications, if you have forest land and a pecan orchard on the same parcel, you can put them both on the same application, because you just check forest, check pecan, or whatever other type, and put in your acres and dollars there. So if it's on the same parcel, you can do one application for both the forest and the pecan orchard, or other orchard.
Okay, there's 2 or 3 more questions on the application. Have you received or applied for other government assistance to help with debris removal? Check yes. That's not gonna disqualify you from getting some of this money, okay? We just wanna know, you know, how are you doing as far as getting assistance? Have you received or do you expect to receive income from timber salvage on the parcel? Again, we just want to know how the salvage is going. We're not going to use that to disqualify you from participating in this program. Okay? And then finally, will F-dump funds be used to change a forest or orchard to a different land use? If you check yes, that does not disqualify you either. Okay? We would like to know if you're thinking about changing land types. Okay? So if you don't mind answering those, it would be appreciated. So just kind of information gathering tools for us. You don't know unless you ask. Okay? And then on the back side, I'm not going to go over the terms and conditions, but those are pretty much boilerplate sort of language. And of course, after that, you'll have to sign and date it at the bottom. Okay. I think it's a pretty straightforward process. You know, the most difficult part is going to be estimating the costs. But again, we're not going to hold you to that. It's to help us to estimate how far this money's going to go. That's the real truth behind that. So, and of course, as you fill it out, if you have a question, call me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll get the answer for you. So,
One question I've gotten quite a bit lately is who can be the witness for this? And a good practice is for that person not to be a family member. Other than that, it's wide open as to who can be the witness.
yes, sir.
We have a lot of farmers that have dry water. If they're paying people in all four. And just to clarify, if the tract in the northeast corner is 7 acres, the tract in the northwest corner is 7 acres, neither one qualifies, correct? He's got 38 acres on the 4 corners. But they're all 7-acre tracts or 8-acre tracts, or less than the 10 acres. But they're on the same parcel in the same field.
Are they on the same tax parcel as
Yes.
it relates to the county?
Yes. They're on the parcels, they're just in different tracts.
Yeah, as long as they're on the same parcel, they're fine. It's total on the parcel.
And what we'll be using there, sort of as the default, is the county's tax records. You know, we're all familiar with how the county divides up parcels, and sometimes, you know, it depends on when you bought it, did you acquire a piece next door or whatnot. We'll be working off of tax parcels as we get down to that time.
Yeah, the question in the front, he said tax parcel according to the county, not FSA parcel info. That's correct. It's according to the county tax record.
Fill out the application and you approve it. Estimated cost. All right, when you approve it, are you going to earmark and reserve foreign funds for that landowner? Or are the funds going to be divided up with what funds you have available? So what I'm saying is, it looks like the landowner fronts the money to do this, sends you a bill, and hope there's money there to pay it. I'm just saying, is money earmarked for each applicant, regardless of whether it's 10,000, whatever. You tell us up front what we can expect from you, and rather than at the end we run out of money.
See what I'm talking about? Yeah, the question is, will you be notified when you're approved as to how much funding you've been approved for? And the answer is yes. You will have a certain amount of money that will be earmarked for your work, so that you're not just going out blind, doing the work and hoping you're still going to submit the bills and there'll be enough money. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge for us as an agency to really plan how much, you turn in a contract for, 100 acres of land clear, of debris clearing for, whatever, whatever the amount is. And we get all these applications coming in, and we got a total, and you're applying for other programs as well. You can't double dip on programs, so there's gonna be a bit of a balancing act there, but you'll know up front what you've been, when you get approved, how much money you've been approved for. Therefore, that'll kind of control what, maybe what work you do and how much you can, because you do have to, as the gentleman said, you do have to pay, and according to whoever you're working with, you're gonna have to, pay up front and then be reimbursed with the cost share money. Hopefully those will all come together pretty close, but there could be, you could have to front the money.
If you decide, all right, you've done like 3 out of 4 projects here,